In the midst of every trouble, there are always glimmers of hope. Thanks for watching. All right, well, welcome back to Glimmers of Hope. You know me, I'm Dwight, and I'm very happy to be here with you. But we have a special, very, very special guest here today. And if you've ever read Proverbs 31, you've met this person.
Oh, my goodness.
This is my wife, Leslie. And Leslie's our guest on Glimmers of Hope today. Leslie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
All right, this is the first thing I always talk about with people. We do the same thing pretty much every time. January 7th, 8th, and 9th was just a year ago, almost exactly a year ago now, a year ago last week.
That's right.
It was well, I know my story, they've heard my story, but from your perspective, walk us through what happened on January 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Okay, well, the first thing that I remember was how windy it was, and that the whole town, all they were talking about for days, was the windstorm that was going to be coming.
You know, I don't usually get to add this, but you were there.
Yeah.
It was so windy that day, the 7th, that I'm a manager at the hardware store at the time. The New York Times had a reporter in the store interviewing people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she actually took your number
She took my
down
number.
and
We
wanted you to
communicated.
keep communicating
Yeah.
with her
Yeah.
with all the happenings with the wind and
We
everything.
sold out of flashlights.
Yes.
It was pretty amazing.
Yes.
So, okay, sorry. It's a windy day, January 7th.
Windy day, and I just remember leaving for work that morning and looking up at our huge ash tree in our backyard. It's deciduous, the tree. And usually it takes the whole month of January, part of February to lose its leaves. And I looked up and it was completely bare. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I took a picture of it and sent it to my girlfriends. I go, well, at least now all the leaves
All
are
the
gone
leaves are
in
down.
one foot, because it takes months for the gardener to get those leaves all out of our yard. And I thought, wow, well, this is a blessing. You know, they're all gone in one big swoop. And then just had our basic day and came home from work and the electricity was out.
And that's our normal routine.
Come home
For
and
those who
cook dinner. Yeah.
for those who don't have the wind and fire events like we do, it's going to be a windy day, and so the power's going to go out. We're going to go out to dinner. We're going to come home, and the power will either be on or we'll come back tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah, we have an electric stove, so we couldn't do any cooking. So before we left, I remember thinking, okay, the wind's so strong, I am going to close all the shutters, all the blinds, you know, everything that we can. And we went to a local restaurant that we like. And we were sitting there, and a friend of ours was also there having dinner. Same reason, their electricity was out. And just shortly after we ordered, she walked up to our table and said, you guys live on Altadena Drive, right? And we're like, yeah. She said, I just got this picture from a friend of mine that one of the power lines in her backyard is on fire. And we kind of zoomed in on the address, and it was literally 4 or 5 houses up the street from us.
The street.
Yeah. So we told the waiter, please bring our food. We're packing it. You know, we got to go. So there we were, finding ourselves driving home from the restaurant with all the fire trucks, thinking to ourselves, oh my goodness, are we going to get there in time to get into the house to be able to get a few things? By driving up Mendocino Lane, the mountain was ablaze.
Right. At night, it is the strangest thing to see.
Yeah.
If you're looking out Mendocino and there's the Altadena Drive cuts through and then across the canyon, it's a bit of a distance, but when at night,
It's
when
right
that
there.
hill is on fire,
Yeah.
and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that's kind of normal for us. We have a windy day and there's always a fire,
Typically.
but the fire's over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
This time it was not, it was here.
It was here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we hadn't had a fire like that in 30 years.
30 years.
It'd been 30 years. So we pulled up to the house, of course, grabbed a flashlight because you couldn't see anything. And at that point, that the firemen were saying, evacuate, evacuate now. There was no time.
That's the first time that I've heard the fire trucks going up and down the street with the loudspeakers.
With the loudspeakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, to leave. So having done this 30 years ago, we had a lot more time then to get out. This time it was 10 minutes. I went and grabbed the files in my desk, my computer. We grabbed a small suitcase and just threw some overnight things in it, and that was it. That was it. And we got in the car and drove away.
I'm going to interrupt you there. I'm going to interrupt you a lot because you're my wife. I can interrupt you. We're driving out. I've got a suitcase on my lap or something. I know I had something on my lap. I was carrying stuff in and out of the house, and
Yeah.
you're driving.
Mm-hmm.
So we're headed west on Altadena Drive. We're headed
Mm-hmm.
away from the house, that away toward La Cañada, because we're going to go be at your mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something. What did you say as we
Yeah,
were driving
we
away?
were driving away, and I was looking in the rearview mirror and seeing explosions, and the whole window was flames. It was it was like a scene out of a movie. It was like a scene out of a movie, explosion after explosion. It was surreal,
Yeah.
surreal.
At that at that moment, what were you expecting?
I was expecting we weren't coming home to our home.
Yeah.
That there was, with the winds the way they were and the fire right there on the canyon, that it did not look good. I felt um, the fact that the fire trucks were right there, gave me a bit of comfort. But yeah, it was nerve wracking. It was, I don't know if our home is going to make it. I mean,
Right.
it's right there on the corner of Altadena Drive. It is right there.
I mean, yeah. We've
You
all
could throw a rock
we've
to the
all seen
canyon.
we've all seen the picture of the power tower with the fire down at the base of it,
Yeah.
and that picture could have been taken from our front porch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I honestly, those homes, I think the wind, I think the wind carried the fire away from our neighborhood.
Mhm. We have a little
A-
circle there that
yeah, and I feel like the resources were thin. And by the time, that's why I believe there was so much devastation further west on Altadena Drive. I mean, those homes didn't even get notification until we were out of our house by 6.
right.
They weren't getting notified till, some of them not at all,
Yeah.
till late that evening. And we had the concentration of the original, you know, fire trucks
Right.
coming, and
Right.
I think that helped, along with a dear neighbor who decided to stay behind
Hmm.
and put out spot fires, which
So
was amazing.
over the next couple of days, we went to La Cañada. We're with your mom that night,
Hmm.
and
We
the adventure continued.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, we had talked about it. It's been a full year now, and we watched a little bit of the
Oh yeah.
anniversary news. And because we didn't have electricity, then we went to my mom's. Shortly after we arrived there, the electricity went out in La Cañada. And so we went to bed, no electricity. So we saw no news that first night when everything was happening.
Right.
And watching some of the clips on the anniversary of the fire, I was just like, how blessed were we
That we didn't get to see
that
it.
we didn't see it?
Blindness
Because,
is a good thing
oh
sometimes.
my goodness, it would have been terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we were seeing things that we didn't realize were going on.
We've had some folks sitting where you're sitting, and they tell the story of being across the street from their house
Yeah.
when they see it go down. You
Yeah.
know, and that was the news reports that we saw last week.
Mhm.
We sat there the evening of the 7th, and we kind of flipped through YouTube and saw channel KTLA had their report and all that.
Right.
If we had been watching that by sitting in your mom's living room, it would have been.
Yeah, I don't even know if I probably would have gotten in the car and drove. It
Yeah.
just would have been very difficult to sit there and watch that and see what was happening.
So
Yeah.
I know the adventure continues. We're not done
Right.
yet.
No. So there we were, asleep in La Cañada, and 4 in the morning, my cousin is banging on the window of the bedroom, trying to get us to, couldn't call because the electricity was out, saying that La Cañada is now being evacuated. So we had to get my 91-year-old mother up, and in 2 cars, because we wanted to get her car out of there. We had our car. And then where are we going to go? We first went down to my cousin's home
Right.
in La Cañada, and all her family was there saying, Well, we can't stay here either. So they went.
A- And people really need to know. It is so windy that you can barely stand up.
Oh yeah, my
And
mom said that the wind was lifting her off the
yeah,
ground.
it's
It
just ridiculous. So
Yeah.
gusts that night, there were gusts up to 100 mile per hour.
Well, even yes, and as a testament to that, my cousin went to my uncle's house who lives around the corner from my mom, and when she opened up her car door, the wind was so strong that it snapped the car door all the way open and it broke.
Broke the door.
And so she was driving down Angeles Crest Highway after we all, got in our cars, holding her door closed because it wouldn't close to get down the hill. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Jeez.
So we're trying to figure out where to go. So we decided to go to Santa Clarita, where my sister lives.
Right.
And we drive out there 4 in the morning, only to find out that that freeway was closed because of a recent fire starting over there as well.
It was that moment that for me that was one of the most frustrating. Okay, I wasn't really scared. I mean, I
It was
honestly
exhausting.
it was yeah. There you go.
It was
exhausting.
exhausting.
Just like enough
Right.
already.
Yeah.
But we're driving up the freeway, and your mom's there in the car with me, and she's praying the Lord's Prayer.
She's a nervous
she's like
wreck.
completely a wreck. She's completely a wreck. And I look up, and I'm like, oh, son of a gun. This freeway's closed. I can see the fire up there, and the trucks are blocking. So
Yeah.
we had to get off, and I've got GPS on my phone, but there's hardly any signal. It was so
We kept coming across roadblock after roadblock trying to get to my sister's house.
All right.
Yeah.
So now we make it to Santa Clarita.
Yeah.
We're settled in, and now so that's
That's the
the
7th,
8th,
the evening of the 7th.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
yeah,
the
early
morning
the
of the
morning
8th.
Right.
Yes, early morning
So we
of the
watched
8th.
news all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
We finally made it back. I know. I'm going to skip ahead because we were there all day watching the news and just hanging out, but they didn't have any fire news. It was just that aftermath. The news that we saw last week, the
The
anniversary news,
Yes.
that was all stuff that was, live on the site in Altadena.
Right.
It was horrible to watch. This was afterward.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we didn't really, they didn't, of course, our house was completely they're
Well,
not going to,
you remember too, that morning is when we found out that the hardware store burned down.
and the hardware store,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
part of the adventure too.
Yeah.
So now I know I'm out of work.
Right.
So we ended up back in Pasadena after a couple of days.
We did.
came and we stayed with John
Yes.
and Melinda.
Yes.
What's one of the first things you did? Boom.
Oh, the morning, Wednesday the 8th, the first thing I did when I woke up is I called the insurance company and put in a claim so we could get that going.
Right.
Of course, working with the insurance company was a complete disaster.
Yes.
We finally had to take matters into our own hands after being strung along for 8, 9 months, and then we
Yeah.
just decided to do what we needed to do to get back home.
So the show's called Glimmers of Hope.
Hmm.
There's a reason why it's called Glimmers of Hope. That in every time we met somebody, every time we talked to somebody, there was one of the days I was walking home. Later on, a couple of weeks later, I was able to get up to the house.
Yes.
Remember, I had to turn off the power to the pool just in case the power came on and all that business. I had to talk
Mhm.
my way past the National Guard and the sheriff. I had to walk up Altadena Drive.
Right.
I proved that I can talk to people. And people were stopping me as I'm driving. Twice, people stopped me because they had recognized me from the hardware store.
Oh.
And so they're, we're okay. And everybody's got a story about hope. Everybody's got something good that happened.
Yeah.
In those
Yeah.
first few days, I have an advantage because I know the answer, but I want you to tell. The first few days, what is a major glimmer of hope? It was obvious that God was working in your life. How do you know that? What did you see happen?
Oh, well, first of all, the way our family rallied around us was just beautiful, and particularly our children, two of them who live out of state. And they were just on the phone with us hour after hour, texting. My daughter-in-law, Caitlin, she's such a researcher. She was amazing. She was just researching all sorts of things. And, Mom and Dad, you can get some resources here, and this is what's happening here. These are the roads that are closed. These are open. She was wonderful, and my son Jared wanted to drive and be with us and help. And of course, we didn't really have a place to, we were with my mom, and we didn't know when we could get back home.
You couldn't even get to the house. If
No,
people wanted to come over and do things at the house, you can't get to the house.
no, no. And our son Jason, who does live locally, he saw the news that night, so he was seeing all those scary things. And unbeknownst to us, got up at the crack of dawn and decided, I'm driving home.
Right.
I need to see if my house is there. And he's driving up Altadena Drive and seeing burn home after burn home and devastation. And his fiance decided to videotape, him driving up. And you could just see the emotion in him as he pulls up Altadena Drive to turn down our street. And there, because literally one house away from us was gone.
Yeah.
And he had, every indication that it wasn't going to be there.
You just saying the words is really not enough. You have to think about, what did he see? Because I know the house you're thinking about is just 2 doors down,
Yeah.
and it's the one with the gate that was all twisted up and melted, and there's a car right inside, and it's things were still smoking,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was seeing, and
Yeah.
he's thinking, I'm going to go another 200 feet, and there's
And
going
it's
to be
gonna
our
be
house
gone.
going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And he turned around the corner, and it was so precious that he just jumped out of the car and literally ran through every room of the house, just checking to make sure everything's okay. And he called us immediately, and you could just hear the quiver in his voice. Mom and Dad, the house is here. It's okay. It's here. And it was just so touching, so touching that the kids are so connected to the Altadena community. It's all
right,
they've ever known. We've been in our home since they were infants. They were all born in that home, and
right.
we've been there ever since. And we plan on not moving.
So then there's Michelle. Michelle had a different. What was Michelle's reaction?
Oh, Michelle was precious. She just kept asking me if I grabbed this and that and the other thing. And Mom, did you get your recipe box? And did you get the framed picture of how Dad proposed to you that's on your bedroom wall? And I remember looking at you thinking, I didn't even ever know she looked at that
she
thing
read
or
that?
read it.
In the
Just think-
Dancing Santa.
in the dancing.
She had to make sure we got the
Yeah, we got the
dancing
dancing, and of course Jason, because Michelle kept asking about all these things. Jason kept going back to the house, and he kept gathering up more things because the fire was still going on. I mean,
Well,
it was still burning Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, so the evening of the 7th is when it started, and the 8th is when Jason was able to get up there.
Yeah.
And the 9th was still okay too, or so, kind of in that. But after later on in the week, they had shut all of the streets.
Well, we couldn't get up
you
there,
could-
and we came Wednesday.
Yeah,
By
and
the time we got there Wednesday afternoon, we couldn't get up.
that's when later on I had to talk like I said,
Yeah.
talk my way up
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah, but very sweet. Just felt very loved and supported by not only family but strangers.
tell about that.
I
the
mean,
impact of
so
a stranger's
touching.
gesture on people in trouble.
Oh, I mean, I had high school friends that I haven't talked to in years send money, or pick up the phone and call. It was amazing. I'd be at work, and I'd walk away from my desk, and I'd come back, and there'd be money sitting on my desk, or friends of ours that would come by with bags of clothes. And
Yeah, I was wearing hand-me-downs. I was wearing
yes,
someone else's clothes.
yes, it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing, and so touching. And you just want to pay it forward.
Right.
You want to pay it forward. You absolutely do. And you just, I would pray, God, please bless us. Please bring work for Dwight so that we can help others.
Right.
So we can do the same thing. It was the community. It was a beautiful thing.
So it was tough, and I wrote down the other day. I wrote a little essay the other day, and it was tough. And you can't see my gut. And every time I would turn on the computer and look at a stupid job offer from some scam or something, I don't know. I saw so many job offers. How many sales jobs was I rejected for? How
Yeah,
many?
Yeah.
I got rejected by Tesla. Give me a break.
See,
I,
that's not where God wanted you.
I,
That's how I look at it.
I can sell a Tesla.
You could sell a Tesla.
We experienced tragedy,
Mm-hmm.
and it was traumatic tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we pulled away from our house on the evening of the 7th, and I I don't mean to be proud, puffed up about this, but you just don't know. Someone You don't know what it's like until you go through it.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
we're driving out Altadena Drive, and it was very much like those pictures we saw from the fires up in Colorado, where people are driving through and the forest is on fire. The
Right.
fire was right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so we had a traumatic experience, and it was a tragic traumatic experience, and very often um, trauma like that will drive people apart.
Mm-hmm.
They'll they'll deal with it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
I dare say that you and I are closer today
Mm-hmm.
than we were a
Yeah.
year ago.
And I remember that feeling like a month or two into it and just feeling like, wow, I just have this need to be near you, to be with you, to spend time with you, and I just felt closer to you. And you know, we didn't have a home, we didn't have a job, or you didn't have a job, and but all we had each other, and we hung on to that, and it was a beautiful thing, and I thank God for that. That was a blessing from Him for us in our marriage, and we already had a great marriage, and it was just a beautiful thing. It really was. I mean, we were living with my mom, and it was a thank God for her. I don't know where we would have been without her, but she needed her privacy. We needed our privacy. And then, a dear friend of ours told us about a furnished apartment that we could stay at,
Right.
which was amazing. We were able to do that for a couple of months. And, there we are in an apartment. There's no upkeep. It's just like, it's just
We're
us.
just going to hang out together.
Yeah.
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 So we can skip the year. All right. We just experienced a year together. We had
Mm-hmm.
the 7th, 8th, and 9th, which was the fire and wind event. Okay. And then we had 8 months, 9 months of we were fire refugees. We were out of our house. Thank God we didn't lose our house. We didn't lose anyone. There's no death in the
Right.
family. Everything. All
Right.
that stuff is great, and true and good. Um, but let's say a year from now, someone sees this podcast.
Mm.
What do you hope they hear uh, from you? What do you hope that they hear? What experience? What lesson did we learn?
Oh gosh, perseverance, perseverance, and look for the bright things, because there's a lot of ick in dealing with something like this. Lot of roadblocks, and just God. God works miracles, and
Does he?
yeah, He does. He absolutely does. Maybe not in our timing, um, not well, definitely not in our timing. Of course, we want everything,
Now,
immediately.
yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But when those prayers do get answered, you look back and you think, yeah, that
Well,
timing was right. His timing is perfect.
that was my prayer all year
Hmm.
was just answer Leslie's prayers
Mm,
because I was pretty much I was just begging, I'm
yeah,
just begging. Oh God, please. Oh
yeah,
God, please. And I thought, nah, enough
yeah,
of that. I don't want. God's not a vending machine. So my prayer was that He would just hear your prayers,
yeah, yeah.
and it was December 31st that
Your prayer, my prayer was answered.
I landed that job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's no
I
coincidences
don't think so.
that it was the beginning of a new year.
Right.
Yeah. On the 31st, you got the news for a new position
Yeah.
that we're very hopeful about. Yeah, which
Yeah.
has been great. Yeah.
Any other? This is your opportunity. Any message that you would like to deliver? Somebody is going through trouble. Okay? Somebody right now is going through trouble. And it could be worse than ours. It could be less than ours.
Yeah.
It, Psalm 40 was I was reading, and it was again and again and again, and it says, thank you, God, you saw me in my pit of despair. You lifted
Mm-hmm.
me from the mud and mire,
Mm-hmm.
right? Thank you, God, for hearing me. And it's really Psalm 40. Go read Psalm 40. It's great. And if I tried to, it says if I tried to tell the story, there wouldn't be enough words to tell the story.
Mm.
Okay. So this is our personal pit of despair. Somebody else has their pit of despair that
Mm-hmm.
they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
If you had an opportunity to set somebody down who's in the midst of their own pit of despair, sorry, I'm such a baby. What would you say?
Well, I think perseverance is so important, even in difficult times. And just surrounding yourself with other people. I mean, I couldn't have done it without other people, and not to be afraid to reach out. And that was hard for me.
It's really difficult to do.
Very difficult. I mean, I'm not a proud person, but I'm a proud person in the sense that I can do this.
Right.
I can do this, and I don't need, you know, the help of others, but we do. God doesn't want us to do things alone. He brings others beside us to help us and allow others to 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 be there and to offer and accept and say thank you and think, you know what? I'm learning from this and I'm going to pass it on to
Right.
somebody else.
I remember now when I went up to Scott, Pastor Scott, and said, I said we'll take one of those like Target cards or whatever it was,
Mhm.
because we needed we
Mhm.
needed food.
That was humbling.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
humbling.
We need to rely on that community.
Yeah.
And you're right. Now
Yeah.
we have an opportunity once we get back on our feet, and that's what's happening right now. That we do the same.
That we do the
Yeah,
same.
go and do likewise.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And God is real, and God wants the best for us. He may take us through valleys, but we're going to come out. And so perseverance and not giving up and surrounding yourself by others, and don't be afraid
right.
to ask for help. Yeah, don't find there's no shame in that.
There you go.
Yeah, no
Well,
shame in that.
that's a good place for us to stop.
Okay.
Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here.
This was fun.
I'm sorry. I'm such a weepy baby. I'm usually very assertive in these conversations. So tell me about your event. I have no problem. But now you're sitting right there, and you know what?
Oh.
You know what? Thank God for you. Sincerely, sincerely. Thank God for you. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. Obviously, super special guest. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm such a crybaby. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Please reach out to us. info@glimmersofhope.me